Hello, welcome again to another video lecture on NetBeans. This time we're going to start off creating a NetBeans uh, IDE project for a PHP file. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to click on the New Project button. This time I'm going to click on the PHP. Um, and I can see up here that I've got the ability to create a raw PHP application, or if I have a PHP application that I've been developing in another environment, I can pull all those files in here by using the with existing sources, or I can pull in a PHP application from a remote server, or I can manage it on the remote server. So here I'm going to click on just the regular PHP application. I'm going to click Next, activates the PHP. This is the first time I'm using this on this computer. Again, here I've got updates. So who knows, right now I'm on IDE 8.0.1. Who knows what I'll be after that update. I'm going to leave the project name as PHP Project 1. It starts off putting it into the XAMPP htdocs Project 1 folder. It's using XAMPP because I have XAMPP loaded on this computer, and XAMPP would be managing the Apache web server. And since it's managing the Apache web server, it expects to see the projects in the htdocs folder. So here's my htdocs folder. It's going to create, based on my project name, a PHP project 1 folder. And that, for all intents and purposes, is going to be the root of my local development environment for this PHP project. I'm going to click Next. Here's my it's gonna say run as a local website because I'm gonna do all my local development on this local machine. This is running Windows 7. My project URL for when I want to actually see the project, I'm gonna copy that into my clipboard. I'm gonna click Next. I'm not going to be using any frameworks. The frameworks are very, very helpful later on in more advanced project development, but we're not going to do that for this simple demonstration. Going to click Next. There are composers that we can put in here. We're not going to use any composers either. I'm going to click Finish. And what you're going to see is the PHP project gets created. It starts off with an index.php file, and here is a sample template. What you can see here is the header information. Here I'll start off with my first PHP, and then we've got a body. Now the body can have regular tags, regular HTML, but the idea of a PHP file would be that it would be a combination, or at least it could be a completely PHP file with no HTML tagging involved, elements involved, or this is also perfectly fine. An index.php would normally have some HTML tags that would say this is my first PHP. Oh, we'll do that. We'll start off with a paragraph tag. We'll say this is my first PHP page. Then we'll end that tag. I can remember how to use the shift key. And there's the shift key again. So there's my paragraph. This is my first PHP, and then we would put whatever kind of PHP code we wanted in here, realizing that when we run this, the PHP tagging is going to get stripped out by the Apache web server, and whatever we had in here would get HTML tagging put in if that's what we wanted to have happen, or whatever kind of code we want to put in here. I can now that I have my project and I'm using Firefox, I can just click to run the project, and it'll open up project, and it'll put my first PHP up here in my title on my tab, and it'll put my paragraph. Obviously, I would want this to do, since I'm doing PHP, I would want it to do something a little bit more sophisticated than that. But this gives you an idea of where to get started, what it looks like. If you go to my C drive, my XAMPP, and I go to my htdocs. In my htdocs, I can see that I've got my new project. Inside my project, you can see that there's an NB project folder. That NB project folder is what's indicating that NetBeans is going to be managing this project. Here's my index.php file. And if I go directly to a web browser, I can click and I can just paste in my URL. Since how to use the NetBeans IDE to create your first PHP project. And of course, from here, the world is your oyster. And again, down here in your navigator, you can double click the head and it will bring you to the head tag. Double click on the meta. So when this file gets more complicated, this navigator becomes much more useful. But for now, that's your intro to using NetBeans for a PHP project.